Hello everybody, welcome back to Fanblade. Well, didn't we get a lot of progress done yesterday? Hopefully we can carry on that momentum and get a lot more done today. What we need to do today, the mission is to get some frets in this neck. Now I've decided I was going to use, I've got some jumbo fret wire, and I like jumbo fret wire on a bass. I quite like it on a guitar as well, but you don't see it that often, so I was tempted to put some in there. I've got a big roll of it, but rather than cut it and trim it and cut the tangs and all that stuff, it just takes too long. In this small packet here I have a 24 fret set of pre-cut, pre-radius, pre-trimmed, ready to go in the guitar. The other thing is the binding. In fact, I might even do this first because I'm itching to see what's under this masking tape. We need to scrape the binding down so that it's nice and flush and level and looking good, and we do that with this small packet of razor blades. That's kind of, you do have to remember you are dealing with razor blades. They are sharp, they are a bit dangerous, but there's specific techniques for this, and that's about it. Yeah, we've got leveling file, crowning file, assorted other bits and pieces to be getting on with, so let's get on with. I should say at this point that I am fully expecting there to be a massive mess under here. We have applied masking tape and superglue to a thing, and when you do that, you wind up gluing masking tape down. Oh, look at that. That's that white stuff that caused me grief before. We've sealed some of the gases in, and it's all settled and made that white stuff, and that should just wipe away. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse than that, because I don't want to repeat of what happened last time. Hopefully just a microfiber cloth should take most of that off. There's no little gaps. There's no little gaps. That thick superglue has filled the tiny little voids that sometimes appear. I might just trim that off because that's an accident waiting to happen. If I catch that on something, it'll just rip the whole chunk off. So, assuming that the neck is going to come down to about there, so I can happily trim 15mm off the end of that. No problem at all. Just like that. Cool. Right, scraping. What you do is you effectively take a razor blade, very carefully take a brand new razor blade. Obviously you don't hold it by the sharp end. And just very, very gently and very gradually scrape away little pieces of binding. Might want to hold the workpiece down a little bit better. I've just spotted a little metal fragment in my towel. I might change towels and clamp this down, and then we will scrape to our heart's content. So there it is. Binding's nicely scraped, it's nicely flush and even all the way around. It always gets a little bit choppy around the tight corners. So we're going to come in and just smooth that out with a bit of sandpaper. And probably going to sand out the rest of the body as well, because this is pretty much ready for its final finish, aside from the fact that it's not even close to being finished. Still waiting on my bridge to arrive. Still got to cut the neck pocket and cavities and all sorts of things to do to it, but we are basically at the stage where I can start putting a layer of super glue on it, come back 20 minutes later, flip it over, put another layer of super glue on the back, 20 minutes later flip it over again, and I can start that process of building the finish on this. So I'll do that off camera, because once again, sanding is boring. What is exciting to put on camera though is frets. What we've got is some fret wire that's pre-prepared, and it has a tang width of just on 0.5 millimeter, but the barbs on it bring it to just on 0.9 of a millimeter. So we are looking to cut a slot that is between 0.5 and 0.9 of a millimeter. This coping saw blade is just on 0.7, so perfectly in the sweet spot for cutting the right sized slot for these frets. I've got it set up for a pull cut, so nice and accurate, and I'll just go through and cut all of these. I can also just go down to the depth of the blade. As soon as the top of the blade disappears underneath the surface of the fingerboard, I know I've gone far enough. That's when I stop. Right, we are nearly ready. There's just a couple more things we've got to do to prep this board. The slots are cut, they are very, very nice. What that does though is that actually raises a little burr, there's just a little edge on either side of each slot, and that's going to prevent the frets from sitting all the way down. So we just take a needle file, just a triangular needle file, and just a couple of strokes in each slot, and that will level those out. Then we'll even the entire thing out. I've got a little bit of 400 there to even the whole thing out. Then one more very carefully applied layer of super glue just to seal it properly, and then we can put the frets in. So I'm sure you're all aching to see that. So am I. Okay, frets are in, frets are looking good. I think Jarrah might be a little bit hard for this because it was a struggle to actually hammer them in. And of course, if you're trying to hit hard, you do run all kinds of risks. I'm seriously considering building myself a proper fret press, which is something that I need anyway. I've actually got an old drill press, which may be easily modified to do that. So look out for that video coming soon. In the meantime though, these frets are down. They are down all the way pretty much across the board. Any inconsistencies that are in there now are going to come out with a little bit of light leveling, but before I do that, of course, I've got to glue them in, just to make sure that the Jarrah doesn't try and spit any of them out, which I'm not entirely certain that it won't try to. Yeah, so we'll glue them in. This is kind of difficult to film because you've got to get in really close. Basically, water thin glue, and just dribble a tiny little bit in each end, and you can actually see it wicking down the fret. And we can file off the ends because at the moment they're a bit sharp. Then mask it off, mark them, level them, remark them, crown them. Done. Oh, and fill the ends, of course. So yes, let's carry on. Okay, frets are in. Ends are snipped, filed, and I filled them in as well. Just jammed a bit of wood filler in there. That's all good. Now, leveling. Standard procedure. Mask off the board. I've got 3 different types of masking tape, or 3 different widths, I should say, of masking tape. Gonna mask that off. You draw on the frets. You level the frets. You draw on them again, and you round them back over. There's 1,000,001 videos explaining all of that. This isn't going to be one of them. I'm just going to do it, and you'll see me doing it, so you know that I've done it. And then that will pretty much be the neck finished, except for, and I'm going to be very specific about this, polishing the frets. What I'm going to do is get a ton more coats of finish on the whole thing, so that as I'm polishing the frets up using progressively higher grits of sandpaper, I will do the rest of the neck at the same time as well. So that's, if you organise your processes so that you can reach the finishing point with all of them at the same time. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. As far as the body goes, that's had about 5 more coats on it. It's looking good. Coming up rather well. Still not quite there yet. There's a little bit of grain still to fill. But that was always going to be the case with ash. It's it takes a long time to fill that stuff. But the bridge has arrived. Here's the bridge. My bridge has arrived. Lovely, shiny, tune-o-matic bridge. So, yes, very, very glad to have that on site so I can start marking out the body and carve that all out tomorrow, including the neck pocket, and yeah, it's like the finish line's in sight. We're only a few videos away, maybe 2-3 more videos. That's great, because I would love to be able to have an actual day off at the end of this stretch and say that I had a holiday. there it is. Getting closer every day. That's good. This neck, apart from just the very final sand and polish, is done. I can start marking out the neck pocket and the pickup cavities and drilling holes and working out what I'm going to do there. That's literally just going to be a volume and a tone, and I should probably stick a switch in there somewhere as well, but I'm debating whether to put one there or just make it simple and keep it. I'll probably just stick it there. But there's not a whole lot of real estate in this area for putting a lot of controls, so I just won't. That'll be, may not even have a tone. Volume and a switch. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But apart from that, that's it for today. And tomorrow we will cut up the body and we will get as close to being finished as we possibly can. So thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for subscribing, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.